Liver King went viral, lied to millions, released the worst apology video in YouTube history, and got sued for $100 million, all within a year. Even if you don't know him, you've definitely seen him on social media, and he's a hard person to forget due to his iconic look. He may look like the embodiment of anabolic steroids, but fear not. You can look like him if you just follow his 9 ancestral tenets, while also doing steroids. Liver King personifies everything wrong with the fitness industry. He is the Lovecraftian mutant child of the out-of-control online space, full of scammers, liars, and people pumping themselves with enough human growth hormone to make themselves look like a JoJo character. Liver King is just a piece to a much bigger problem of people taking the health out of health and fitness.
There's a lot of sub-primals that are convinced that Liver King is taking steroids. Do you think if I was on steroids, I would have these appendages down here?
Yes! Liver King is the persona of businessman Brian Johnson. After having successful businesses and amassing a good amount of wealth for himself, he could have rode off into the sunset as rich and anonymous. But all of this wasn't enough for Brian, who, according to himself, saw suffering in the modern man. His solution to this modern suffering was ancient methods, which he just so happened to have a company promoting and selling said methods. And what is the point of knowledge if A, you can't share it, and B, you can't monetize it? So Brian started making waves on social media, spreading his message of primal living through 9 ancestral tenets. Now on their own, these tenets aren't really special, but it's with a lesson in virality we can understand why the Liver King blew up so much. He went to the Andrew Tate School of viral success, which is do or say something completely bombastic, which gets people to share you around. Holy shit, look what this guy's saying. But in this case, it was eating raw organs and looking like this. People see this and go, oh god, look at this weirdo. The video gets shared around and reaches more eyeballs, which, good or bad, is the end goal. But a percentage of these people will watch that video and, out of curiosity, they'll check out his other stuff and find the message, which is usually very basic and not even wrong per se, to hook people in. But it subverts the expectations somebody had. Oh, I thought this guy would be insane, but he's actually making a bit of sense here. He's telling you to get better sleep and exercise. I thought he was a complete clown, but turns out he's actually kind of smart. Well, not necessarily, he's just not a complete dumbass like you originally thought. Low expectations and all that. Liver King seemingly went from 0 to 100 overnight. One day he's a meme.
Gonna touch the stuff, never touch the stuff. That was a lie.
The next, he's everywhere and being taken kind of seriously. People made tons of videos about him. He attended UFC events, front row. He was at concerts, on stage with Steve Aoki. He was on some of the most famous podcasts in the world, and The Fighter and the Kid. Except for Joe Rogan, one podcast that always eluded Brian. It was his dream to get on Joe Rogan. And Joe had this to say about him.
He's just like, I'm a producer for the Liver King. I'm like, what the fuck do you produce? He was trying really hard to get on the podcast. And he's been trying really hard to get on now. What? Say that more? Like, come on, this is dumb, man.
But other than that, he seemed to be riding high. Until he wasn't. One of the biggest and boldest claims Liver King made was that he had never taken steroids. His body was due to his lifestyle of eating raw meat and sunning his balls and all that. Now, anybody with even a little bit of gym knowledge would know that this is not true. I mean, the guy looks like a misshapen turd. But without actual hard evidence, you can't really prove someone's on steroids. However, if anything is clear in the modern internet age, information and truth wants to be free. The suppression of that will only lead to bigger exposure in the future. It's not a matter of if you'll get caught, it's when you'll get caught. Especially when you tell such an egregious lie and double down against your critics. So on November 28th, Derek, from More Plates, More Dates, one of the most respected voices in the fitness industry, dropped a bombshell of a video called The Liver King Lie, which not only exposed the Liver King for using steroids, which I mean, everybody kind of knew, this was just confirming their beliefs, but on average, he used upwards of $11,000 per month on steroids, which is anything but primal. Coming from the same guy who preaches about ancestral and primal living. Did you know the Liver King doesn't shower? So he probably stinks. But you, the viewer, don't have to stink thanks to the sponsor of this video, Scentbird. Scentbird's been a sponsor of mine before, and honestly, they're one of my favorites. Scentbird lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try every month for just $17. You get a 30-day supply, so you can try out what you want before having to commit. Some full bottles of fragrances can go from $300 to $500 easy, so it's great if you want to try one before committing all that money. Every month, you get to pick what you want to receive, so there are no surprises. They have fragrances for men, women, and unisex. Scentbird carries brands like Prada, Gucci, and Versace, as well as indie labels like Skylar, Heretic, and Confessions of a Rebel. They also say it's a month's worth, but honestly, look at this. This would definitely last me more than a month. For this video, Scentbird sent me the fragrances Wood by V. Diver. This one was a bit of a feminine one, so I ended up giving it away, but honestly, it made a great gift. Initio Musk Therapy, which is very velvety and milky. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's awesome. And the Harmonist with Magnetic Wood. All of these are linked in the description, by the way, if you want to try them. I'd say the Magnetic Wood one is my favorite. It has hints of green mandarins, which I really like, and I've been wearing it almost every day now. So if you want to get 55% off your Scentbird order, then use code GHOSTGUM55 at checkout. This means you'll get it for a little over $7 a month. Available in the US and Canada. Thank you, Scentbird, for the sponsor. Let's get back into it. After being exposed, Brian made possibly one of the worst received apologies in YouTube history that I can think of, which for some reason only had audio in the left ear.
Before social media, I was rich and anonymous. And after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous.
While some people were happy to see him fail because he was annoying, others saw it as a relief. This guy was selling things to vulnerable, insecure men who weren't happy with their lives or appearance. He sold them the false promise that they could look and be like him if they followed his methods and bought his products, when in reality, it'd be impossible to look like him without some secret juice. So when he said he did this for people who take their own lives, it rubbed so many people the wrong way because he was exploiting the people he said he was helping. Which is why there are lawsuits against him now for almost $100 million. The base of these lawsuits are people followed the Liver King's advice to look like him. And the fact he lied about steroids means he falsely advertised himself and his brand. Liver King insinuated that he never wanted this fame. He didn't think it would ever blow up this big, which is why he didn't know how to handle it. This is a complete lie, and there's even more proof in his emails showing that not only did he want to be famous, but he had specific targets he wanted to hit in specific time frames in regards to fame. Now, despite all of this, the lies, the deception, the annoying videos of him getting people to eat raw liver, I am going to do the first thing done in YouTube history. I am going to defend the Liver King.
Boo, you suck!
Kind of. Sort of. You see, the Liver King claims the reason he stuck to his diet was because of his kids. If this is the case, there's a good chance that he believes in what he preaches. And he also started his ancestral supplements before the Liver King. So I would say that kind of shows that he believed his message and practiced it to some extent. I seriously doubt he would lie about something as serious as his kids getting a lifetime illness to sell his product. But he is a proven liar. Maybe he created the Liver King persona and tried to go viral to spread a message he actually believed in, and steroids just got caught up in that. He's also a social media persona, so unlike someone like The Rock or Chris Hemsworth, who are also almost certainly on steroids as well, Liver King can't avoid the question of steroids when he's trying to go as viral as he wanted to be. Now, he could have told the truth, and I genuinely believe he would have come out okay on the other end had he been honest. Now, what I can't defend is the fact he brought up suicide in his apology as a sympathy plea to the audience. He tricked young, vulnerable, and insecure men into buying his stuff with the expectation that if they lived like him, they'd look like him, which obviously isn't true because of his rampant steroid use. He also only really apologized after getting caught. He wasn't sorry he did it, he was sorry he got caught. So you could look at this one of two ways. He genuinely believed his message and just got caught up in a social media storm, or he has a massive ego that'll never be quenched no matter what, and the Liver King was just to boost his ego and make him richer, even though he was already rich before. But again, if he was honest about his steroid use, I think he would have way more respect in the public eye. And if you don't believe me, look at someone like Noel Dizell, built like the Where Do You Work Out, the library, and one of the biggest fitness influencers in the world. He is fully open about how he's on steroids and why you shouldn't be on them. In fact, look at some of the most respected people in the fitness industry right now who happen to be on steroids. Most of them are pretty open about being on steroids, and no one really seems to have a problem with it, especially when you know the risks of steroids, which include organ failure, hormone imbalance, and many, many, many more. So if Liver King was just fully open about his steroid use, at least he would still have his credibility, which is huge when it comes to marketing a lifestyle. I mean, look at his numbers on TikTok now versus what they used to be before all this came out. Like, geez, it doesn't matter how many raw testicles you eat, you'll never repair that reputation. Which is why the Liver King deserves his downfall. Will he ever come back from this? Honestly, I don't think so. Have I ever eaten bull testicle? No, but it doesn't look bad. Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, the Patreon helps out a lot, patreon.com/ghostgum. Also want to thank Sensbird for sponsoring this video. The channel's been getting hit with a lot of demonetizations lately, so sponsors like them help make videos like these possible. My Brendan Shaw video was actually demonetized for the word you're seeing on screen now due to extreme profanity, so take that with what you will. Yeah, that's about it. Catch you in the next video. We'll be coming sooner than this one, I promise.